And yeah, the rain is coming down, as you can see here on the radar. And we're going to be in and out of these showers for quite some time today. We'll give a few more people a chance to hop on here. But glad you're with us. And we're just going to kind of take you through what to expect as we go through the day. Because this rain is certainly much needed. And we might even be getting a little bit of snow in some spots before all is said and done. So we're going to kind of take our time and walk you through it here on this wet Tuesday. Thanks for joining me in our new podcast studio here at NBC5. And yeah, we're going to really focus in on this storm system. It's a dynamic storm system here. A lot of rain, some snow not too far away. Temperatures are above freezing, though, in Dallas-Fort Worth. So we're not looking at a widespread travel problem across North Texas. Farther to the north, though, different story, as the snow is already starting up across Oklahoma and even the Texas Panhandle. So let's get to it here. Show you the scene in North Texas is certainly wet. Our TxDOT cameras here showing wet roads, and it's going to be a challenge just to get some things done today, get some errands run, and maybe picking the kids up today, or maybe trying to work outside. That's going to be a real challenge for sure. So let's kind of walk through it here as we look at the temperature map. Again, we're not concerned about this all changing to snow and ice all of a sudden. It's going to be a rain event, and pretty much for most of the day and into the evening, there may be a few snowflakes that mix in. Let me change my computer here. It got switched on me, so I want to get this back to the right source. So just bear with me. And in the meantime, if you want to leave some comments or questions, we will certainly, I'll certainly do my best to address those. Let me switch this computer here, though. There we go. All right, now we can walk through it here, and I'll periodically be checking the feed here and try to address your questions as I can. If you want to let me know where you're watching from and what your questions are, we'll try to get to those as we get through this here. All right, so starting off here, first of all, we've got temperatures in the 40s, and yeah, of course, that's well above freezing, so we're not concerned with any icy travel out there right now. Up to the north, you can see some 30s up toward Bowie and Jacksboro. Those numbers, obviously still well above freezing as well, but you have to get deeper into that cold air up into the Panhandle and up into Oklahoma, where temperatures really drop off and where we're starting to get some icy travel. So zooming in here, Wichita Falls appears to be kind of the cutoff line where we're getting the rain snow transition, and then especially up toward Childress. Some snow is falling there, and starting to really get some problems in the Lubbock area, where temperatures are in the low 30s and even some upper 20s. And into southwest Oklahoma, heavy snow developing up in there. Oklahoma City under a winter storm warning. But on our side of the Red River, it's all rain, and we can see that it's pretty heavy rain. We're getting some waves here of showers and even some thunderstorms. And this is a real dynamic storm system that's going to bring South Texas, including the Houston area, a threat for severe weather later on today. But it's just plain rain across the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Temperatures in the 40s. But you can see some heavy bands here. The orange and the yellow indicate some moderate to occasionally heavy rain out of this. Now, let's talk about the snow. I know a lot of you are most interested in that. We're looking up north. The pink shading is a winter storm warning, And this is where several inches of snow is going to fall from central and southern Oklahoma, south of Oklahoma City. They could easily see 4 to 6 inches of snow. Might even get some areas getting a little bit more than that. And then that stretches out to the Panhandle, Amarillo, Childress, Lubbock under the winter storm warning. And then all of eastern Oklahoma, Tulsa's under it as well. They're going to probably see 4 or 5, maybe 6 inches. And then over into the Ozarks of Arkansas and Missouri. Now, closer look here in North Texas. Notice Dallas County and Tarrant County are not included. But Collin County, Denton County, Wise, Jack County, Palo Pinto, you guys are under this winter weather advisory. And this runs from noon until midnight, where we could see 1 to 3 inches of snow, a wet, slushy type snow, mainly on the grass. Okay? Now, pretty much everything has to come together for all of this to happen, to see this wet snow accumulation. Everything has to kind of line up just right. Let's show you the computer model here, and things kind of there's kind of a narrow window of opportunity, a limited window of opportunity that has to happen just perfectly for, excuse me, I'm getting choked up here. Things have to come together just right to see this snow in North Texas. And we'll play out the computer model here, and we'll zoom in so you can kind of get an idea how things have to happen for us to see any of that snow. And you can see around midday, the snow gets quite heavy up into Oklahoma and southern Oklahoma. I do think there will be some travel issues up toward Wichita Falls and perhaps even Bowie. If you're watching in the Bowie area or even Gainesville, notice around 4, 5 o'clock, that rain-snow line gets a little bit closer. And even Denton County, we're probably going to get some snowflakes out of this. Out west toward Mineral Wells, you'll probably get a little rain-snow mixture. We've already had reports of some sleet mixing in up toward Bowie, but probably by late afternoon and evening, this will probably be some pretty good snow for our northern counties, Bowie to Gainesville, Sherman, Denison. You guys are going to be in this. And notice the computer model brings in some of that snow into Tarrant County. So I wouldn't be surprised at all this evening if we had a quick little burst of some wet snow in Fort Worth and Dallas as well. Might get a few snowflakes out of this. This would be kind of on the very final stages of the storm. See there? 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. At that point, though, it's pretty much over with. And temperatures will stay above freezing. A lot of people say, well, how can you get snow with temperatures above freezing? That's a good question. This is a kind of a different storm system that we're dealing with. We're relying on the upper low, which is coming in from West Texas. And as this upper low swings through, it's actually, let me update this. I plotted that a couple hours ago, but now the low is pretty much between Midland and Abilene. So it's getting closer. And as it gets closer, it's bringing with it some lift. What do I mean by lift? It's bringing with it basically some energy, and it's bringing with it the ability. By the way, the arrow here represents that it's going to pretty much travel right on top of us by late in the day. And as it swings through, it's going to help generate some lift in the atmosphere. And so everything is going to rise and be lifted up. The air is lifted up. And as that moves right on top of us, that will contribute to the cooling process in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So directly above us, we will see the snow form. And the question is whether or not it can survive and make the journey all the way down to the surface. And that's why I'm saying things have to kind of happen just right for all of this to occur, because really the odds will be against much snow. But the farther north that you are, as this low moves in our direction, there could be some wet snowflakes that make it down to the surface. As far as accumulation, our computer model here has been pretty consistent, showing the snow potential in our northern and northwestern counties. And look at some of those numbers there. Bowie, hey, you might get 2 or 3 inches of snow. Again, this mainly on the grass, and with surface temperatures well above freezing, it shouldn't cause any issues on the roads. But Denton, hey, you might get a quick ½ inch to an inch. Again, on the grass. And over toward Jacksboro, you might be getting some snow. Sherman, Denison, hey, you're in on it. So that's the latest. I want to switch over here to, let's switch to the internet here, and let's look at TxDOT. And we can see here, let's zoom in. So these are all indications of where roads are, well, first off, where they're seeing snow, okay? And you can see that cutoff line right in Wichita Falls. There's one of the, let's see if we can get a traffic camera. See if we can get that to show up in the Wichita Falls area. There we go. And you see how the road is kind of changes to a white coloring there. That's where, okay, it's taking us to a different location. That's fine. Okay, there we go. Road conditions in Wichita Falls. They're just wet, so no worries there. I can see some snow, though. There you go, some snow in the median and on the grass in the Wichita Falls area. But, hey, roads are in good shape. By the way, this is TxDOT website, so you can go to that, txdot.gov. Awesome resource. Let's go deeper into the cold air, farther north up toward Vernon. You're seeing some of the snow in the median there. But roads are just wet, so no problems. There you go. That's in the Childress area. Roads look good there. But let's check out Lubbock. Yeah, different story in Lubbock. Roads are definitely icy and snowy in the Lubbock area. That's a major highway right there, and there's definitely a path getting through. But I bet those side roads are pretty slick. That's a bridge in Lubbock that's quite icy, quite snowy. Look at that. Yeah, so roads are quite hazardous out there. Temperatures are much colder out there. They're in the low 30s. So, again, this is kind of a broad overview. Shows us where the roads are snow, where they're getting snow. All those little symbols there. Again, here's the big picture from the National Weather Service, the storm system moving through the southern plains. Winter storm warning showing up in pink, and that's where travel is going to be slick and hazardous. Temperature map here showing that we are in the 40s. So we're well above freezing, but you get back into that colder air, and let's see what Lubbock is right now. Yeah, they're down to 30, so much colder there. Childress is 32, so that's why they're seeing some issues. All right, let's switch back here and check out the radar once again. I want to show you another product here. This is a great product that the National Weather Service just recently started using. It's called the Winter Storm Severity Index, and it's color-coded, as most things are, to kind of give us an idea of where the impacts are going to be from this winter weather. And notice Dallas and Fort Worth aren't even in the color, not even in the lowest category. But you guys in Collin County and Denton County are in the light blue, which is very limited. It's a low end of the threshold. It's really that yellow area where we could see some impacts from this winter weather. So Sherman, Denison, Gainesville, I wouldn't be surprised even in Bonham if you guys have some impacts. The color coding there has it in minor, has the minor category, but you know there could be some roads that take on a bit of accumulation. This would be late today, even Jacksboro. And then there are going to be a lot more impacts in the orange shading. That's moderate. I'd almost put that in major in some spots, but certainly more of impacts up toward Wichita Falls, north of there, up toward Childress and Amarillo, and much of southwestern Oklahoma, and up toward Oklahoma City. So that's where there are going to be a lot more problems with some snowy conditions. But even still, the major interstates should be okay unless you're out in the Panhandle, unless you're out toward Childress and Lubbock. So here's a snow forecast. We've been showing this through the morning, and not much has changed. Farther north, that's where there are probably going to be some 3 to 8 inch totals. That's a big time snowstorm. It'll be a slushy, kind of wet, good snowman making type snow. And I think these totals here would be on kind of probably the high end, 1 to 3 inches, probably closer to 1 or 2, and just some trace amounts in Dallas-Fort Worth. So that's the best we can do with the forecast. It's certainly not a slam dunk by any means. There are a lot of variables that play into this. As I was explaining, that upper low is kind of moving in our direction, and we've got things happening above us in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and it's hard to get exact temperatures up there. We rely on weather balloons 4 times a day that give us the temperature up there, and so we have to rely on atmospheric conditions higher up in the atmosphere that aren't as clear as what's happening on the ground. So right now we do know for sure that it's raining out there. We can see that. We've been dealing with the rain for much of the day, and it's going to be with us through the afternoon. Here's one of our TxDOT cameras. Let's see if we can switch over to one of our cameras in Fort Worth and the Dallas area as well. I'll change that here. And let's see what's happening right now as I switch that. There's Fort Worth. Yeah, it's a wet scene. Let's switch over to Dallas. And let's pop up. Let's see. I got to close out. I'm still learning the software here inside of our inside of this program and in the this podcast studio here, and I just messed something up, so we'll reload that. Anyways, let's see. Let's do that, and meanwhile, I'm going to look at some of your questions. And there we go. There's Dallas. I'm getting it now. All right, let's switch over to the Facebook feed here, and all right, Nathan, hey, thanks for the kind words. Jimmy says, nothing but nasty cold rain here in Gainesville. Let's go up to Gainesville. You guys have a good chance of getting that snow later in the day, but yeah, you're right. Right now, it's just a nasty cold rain, but boy, we need it. Let's see, who else is on here? Jessica, I see your comments. Staying dry, hopefully, in Weatherford. So if you have any questions, we'll keep an eye on. I'll keep an eye on some of those. So if you're just joining us, this is a cold rain on top of Dallas-Fort Worth, and it's going to be with us for a while today. The snow is farther north, but it is getting a little closer. Wichita Falls is seeing that transition to some snow. It's pretty heavy snow up toward Lawton, Oklahoma. Oklahoma City seeing some of that snow. Roads are still pretty good, but they are getting icy out toward Lubbock for sure. They're well below freezing. So it's mainly just going to be a rain event in Dallas-Fort Worth. But as the day wears on and as the evening approaches, I do think we'll see some snowflakes mixing on in. Right now, it's just a cold rain out there, though. As far as rain totals are concerned, this is going to be good news. We need the rain, and I think we're pretty much on track for 1 inch to 1.5 inches of precipitation. Heaviest amounts are going to be to the east. Might see some numbers over 2 inches. And considering before today we've only had a trace of rain for the month and yet thus for the year, this is going to be good news. But of course we don't want any icy travel. I know it's kind of exciting to see some snowflakes, especially for the kids. The planner here showing the cold rain into the afternoon, perhaps a bit of lightning. There might be some thunderstorms, especially farther south, and then some of that rain-snow mixture on into the afternoon. And I should say on into the evening, really. So here's our computer model once again, and you can see how it's got widespread showers and thunderstorms, some heavy storms. Notice that down toward Houston this afternoon and this evening. Meanwhile, up north and northwest, here comes the snow. It'll probably mix in toward 5, 6 o'clock. Don't be surprised if you see a few wet snowflakes on the drive home or if you're running some errands, but I just don't see us getting any snow on the roads in Dallas-Fort Worth. It'll probably just melt off with temperatures holding in the upper 30s. But don't be surprised at all if you see some of those flakes flying around. So there it is. Let's wrap it up here with a view here of the timeline. And you can see heavy rain, some thunderstorms with some late day. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Some late day snowflakes mixing in, and the chance for accumulation mainly to the north of Dallas-Fort Worth between 5 and 9 p.m. And by that time, it'll kind of be winding down, so there won't really be a whole lot left to the storm system at that point. Let's pull up the 10-day forecast here so you can get an idea what's coming our way. After today, looks like we're back to a dry pattern, kind of chilly tomorrow. We'll start in the mid-30s. So you see we never even drop below freezing. You see that 34 Wednesday morning. We're not even going to be below freezing. So if we see the snow, it's not going to cause issues on the roads. Tomorrow's high 48, so it'll stay on the chilly side, and we'll have a brisk north wind. Thursday morning, we're down to freezing briefly, and then 53. Friday, we're back to the low 60s. Saturday, looking good with just a low chance of rain. Next week does look a little chilly. We may lower those numbers as we get a little closer, but right now, nothing too concerning at this point. All right, just checking on the Facebook feed again here, and it looks like, you guys have a few comments there, but it looks like the forecast pretty straightforward, so I think we're in good shape. You guys stay safe out there and try to stay dry. One more look at the radar here shows that we're right in the middle of this rain, and it's going to stick with us for several hours. Could be a little bit of sleet that tries to mix in, especially up toward Bowie and maybe even Jacksboro, maybe Gainesville. Might have a little bit of brief sleet, but then you guys will probably change over to some wet snow by mid-afternoon, mid to late afternoon. So we'll be watching it closely in DFW. It's just going to be a cold rain, but there could be some snowflakes mixed in. So thanks for joining me. Just lastly, if you have not liked my Facebook page, please do so, and you'll be notified then when I do a Facebook Live like this. And thanks for joining. We will talk to you later. Be safe. Try to stay dry.